out of the nightmare abyss of the piney woods of East Texas. The Random Horror Show. The best in commentary and reviews in horror, sci-fi, fantasy, cult classics, and the obscure from film, television shows, and literature. Join our horror hostess, Keisha Lacey, as she is scary, but random, horrific, but funny. Last but not least, she will chill you to the bone.
Welcome back to the Random Horror Show. I am your horror hostess, Keisha Lacey, coming straight out of the Pine Curtain of East Texas. And of course, here at the Random Horror Show, where we commentate being silly and just acting a fool in horror, science fiction, fantasy, cult classics, and the obscure, in movies, television shows, books, and sometimes we have a guest or two. And tonight's episode, I do have a wonderful, amazing guest. And I want all you ghouls and goblins out there in horror land, you freaks and you fans, for actor, Billboard recording artist, Lovari of Barn 2, Zombie Games, Thrust, and Terror Toons. Here he is. Welcome to the show, Lovari. What's up, y'all? What's up?
Hey! First of all, we got to say this one thing. Got to say this. Okay, I know you're interviewing me, but I'm going to turn this around about you right now because you are from East Texas, as you said, but I have to say, you have a little bit of an East Coast New York accent. So you threw me for a loop because I knew you were from East Texas, but when I heard your voice, I'm like, wait a minute. What is your secret? What's going on? Are you not telling us something? Are you really from East Texas?
I really am from East Texas, born and raised, but I have been on the East Coast one time, 20-something years ago. But really, most of the times when I travel, I'm usually on the West Coast or the Midwest or Deep South. But yeah.
Okay, so you retained it well because when we were doing our pre-interview thing, I said, yeah, it's raining here in New York, New Jersey. You're like, yeah, New York in the house. I'm like, oh shit, I thought she said she was from East Texas, but okay. Yes.
You know what? It may be because when I was younger, I listened to like MC Light, a lot of the East Coast rappers and stuff. So it wasn't like the dirty South, like Master P and all that. So
got you.
Yeah, I mean, I got like an accent, from that, I guess. So it just stuck with me.
Well, that's what's up. Well, I feel like I'm talking to one of my peoples in New York right now, so it's all good.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Lovari, for like being on the Random Horror Show. Shoot, yes.
Well, I'm honored. Thank you.
Well, you're welcome. And I know this is the funniest thing of like you like came at me, like on Instagram. And
that's right, because that's what we do. That's what we New Yorkers do, right? We just like keep like, yo.
Yeah, for real. It's like, yo, like, hey.
And persistence. Exactly. And persistence. And I don't do, and listen, and all the stuff I do, I mean, this is going to sound like it, whatever. I don't care. I'm just real. I do it myself. Like, I don't have no middle person and I get stuff done more effectively just by going straight to the source.
You know what? That is like the realest ass shit right there, because like you really do get a lot of results from just going to the source.
100.
Exactly what I do too. I just go to the source. I don't have no middleman, no publicist or anything else like that. And I'm very surprised that you of what you do, you don't have an agent or anything else like that. You just self-made.
I'll tell you, I did at a time. No, I'm definitely self-made, and I will give myself that credit. I'm very humble, but all this stuff, working my ass for, this is all me. Mm-hmm. But there was a time a few years back where I did get a publicist, but by the time the publicist was seeking out what I wanted, I
Mhm.
already turned around and did 3 times. So that's like, yeah, let me put this money in my pocket and just keep doing me.
I know that's real.
Yeah.
I know that's
So
real, man.
right. And
Oh.
also you get
Mhm. Hello?
everybody has everybody has their own thing. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, great.
Yeah, you cut off for a little bit.
I'm sorry. Yeah, I was saying I put myself in third person all the time, never take things personally. I know everybody's busy. But yeah, basically self-made, yes. But that, and that's part of growing up in New York and in New Jersey. And I moved out when I was 20 years old and been through the whole thing, struggles. We still struggle. It's a thing, social media is a catch 22 because you don't necessarily have to be signed to a big, you know, record label, or you don't have to be signed to a big Hollywood studio. That's the beauty of social media now. But the downside is that your competition and just the market completely oversaturated. So you got to work, 3 times as hard.
You're right. You're really right. And because like everybody's an influencer, everybody is this and everybody is
Hmm.
that, you know, and of course, social media is basically free, advertising and marketing, which is really great, for all of us, us regular folk. But you're right, it can be so oversaturated because everybody's like, who is who? Who is this? And and some
Yeah, and
people
even now,
fall off. Yeah, some people fall off.
major companies go to influencers now for promotion. That's the new thing
They
now. You
do.
got all these major companies going to influencers, social media influencers for promotion. So that shows the power of it.
It is. It is a huge, huge power, with that. I mean, even me just being in a beauty business, and I mean, I met this lady, she's over, I'm instructor and trainer,
Hmm.
and she's in the UK. And she, I was like, okay, let me get in her group. And then all of a sudden, boom, she's like, oh, can I like have a meeting with you and talk to you? And I was like, you got to be kidding me. This is the lady that is the founder and, of Lash Fest for,
Look at that.
for lash artists and, people in the lash industry. And I was just like, like, oh my God, really? And it was really great to have a conversation with her. We talked about the industry, we talked about the business side, the marketing, things like that. She asked me what I'm doing, with my business and how I can grow. But it was just really refreshing that and in my other page, I don't even have a lot of followers, because I
Okay.
started it in August, but it's getting a lot of attention because of the content that I'm putting out. And I don't put out that much, on that one and everything because I just started it. But it's really neat to like really connect with like other like-minded business people. And it's the same way with um my other one, the Random Horror Show, where I just
Hmm.
connected organically with other people. I have collab with other horror content creators. It's really like really pretty cool, that social media is that powerful. I don't have no sponsors or nothing like that. I'm like tripping out. I was like, if I have a sponsor, they'd be like, well, you need to like quiet down your language. I'll be like, all right, then we'll get paid.
Mm. Yes.
I'll be like, okay, then I'm getting paid. All right. I'll be polite.
Well,
Oh
that's
my
sort of like I
God.
have this music video, which was had to be nominated at the Catskill International Film Festival for Best Music Video, called "Keep It Moving," cancel culture, and that's what it's about. It's like, like I feel like we're unfortunately back in the age of McCarthyism because we live in the USA, lands of the free, home of the brave. Yet, if we don't side with the popular opinion, we're bullied, stifled. So, do we really have freedom of speech? Do we? Because you seem to get blacklisted or canceled if you don't agree with the popular opinion, and that's not cool at all. So I totally get it, and that's what my previous song was about.
And I actually listened and watched the video, and it's like I don't believe in cancel culture because like it is interesting about it, but like you said, if you just don't agree with the majority that you're awful, you're this, you're all of that right there, and it's like everybody has opinions and everybody has
Mm-hmm.
different viewpoints. You
Right.
know, like they always say, like opinions are like assholes. Everybody has one.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And,
Exactly.
and, and if you can't respect somebody's opinion without being vulgar or like violent, or claiming harm on somebody else like that, but if you can like literally like respect it, their viewpoints, and may have some takeaway from it, then I feel like you should everybody should be cool with it, but
Right. And
not
that doesn't
fighting for the head.
Yeah, and that doesn't exist anymore. There used to be where people would have conversations about why they feel
Right.
the way that they did or who they support. That doesn't exist anymore. Now it's just you're automatically canceled, and that's fucked up. And I think that now I'm starting to see a turnaround, a bit of a turnaround with it. But just the fact that we're 23 and we're reverting back to ideologies of 1950s, which back then they, determined, no, that McCarthyism isn't cool either. That's disturbing. But then there's a lot of disturbing things, and history definitely repeats
Mhm.
itself, unfortunately. And I've said this, and we see everything going on, today with Israel and Palestine, etc. And things are repeating themselves. And the thing that I dislike very much is where there is a difference now of opinion and being choose sides. You shouldn't have to be forced to choose.
No, you shouldn't be forced to choose sides. Can you hear me?
Hello?
Yeah, I can still hear you. I
Oh,
can hear
okay.
you. I couldn't hear you. You kind of went silent for a moment.
Oh,
Don't worry.
sorry. Okay.
Don't worry.
All
Don't
right.
worry. I cut that part off and everything and stitch it. I know.
Got you.
I got bad.
Yeah. So yeah, I think a lot of things in the world have to disharmony in the world have to do with people wanting you to choose a side. So you know, whatever. I just hope that, things, come around before it's too late. But then again, because I said history does repeat itself, then I have to have the faith that history will repeat itself where people will come to their senses again. So yeah, but that's why we have the escapism into things like horror movies, because
Mhm.
real world is so much more fucked up than a horror movie now. So I think that's why horror movies have had such a huge resurgence, especially independent horror movies now. I really think that's why.
Yeah, because I mean, I always like in my little slogan tagline that I use is real life can be horror.
Mm-hmm.
And it can. I mean, it can be horror for like the whole world, society, parts of like a culture, or even like within yourself. And from like the current situation and everything, there is a very huge uprising horror. I remember when horror used to be like taboo because it was very close to pornography, and now like
Yeah,
horror
or
is
shunned
actually
upon, embarrassing. Mm-hmm.
right. Yes, yes. And now it's like mainstream where everybody is accepting of horror, and I feel that horror did have like a lot of like changes like within the industry of how everything is like put out. And I'm glad that people are enjoying horror. And like you said, it's an escapism because they just want to forget whatever the fuck they're going through, and they want to watch a
Mm-hmm.
good horror movie just to forget. And I usually do like a breakdown or a deep dive within horror films because they do, some of them are just silly and everything, but then there's some that it does pose like real life issues, like dealing with sexual assault,
Mm-hmm.
child abuse, things like that. I mean, even like boyfriend and girlfriend breakups and stuff,
Yeah,
breakup
yeah.
from a partner. It goes like a really deep like within these horror films that we watch, and especially like independent horror films. Now I love that there is a rise in the independent. Of course, like when you do an independent horror film back in the day, like Sam Raimi, it was independent. They ran out of money. They got some money. They finished up Evil Dead. But
Yep.
now we have like these surges of like independent horror, and I have watched a couple of them, and I had past guest Jorge De La Rosa. He is actually like filming like Hellvan 2. Hellvan is really good. I mean, I'm like, oh my
Hmm.
god, this is so good. Wade Wolf's The Wizard of Oz. It was his like take of the Wizard of Oz about like toxic relationships. There's like so many that I have like people that I have connected that does like filmmaking. It blows my mind
Yeah, for
what
sure.
they
And
do.
the great thing now, because like you said, touching upon about independent horror, to be able to be in some of these same like mainstream theaters is amazing. Like The Barn 2, one of the films that I'm in and an associate producer of, that got played in a few theaters, like big theater chains, and was just like, wow. Like I remember one weekend,
Hmm.
there was that, oh my God, what is that movie with Brad Pitt? Bullet Train? Is that it? Bullet Train?
Yeah, Bullet
I
Train.
think so.
Yeah.
Bullet Train. Like we were in named Bullet Theater in the Barn through another theater, because and then in the east they were playing Rust in a in these are independent movies. They're getting played side by side in you know with these major films. Not all the time, I'm saying though, but now we have that. Now we have
Hmm.
that awareness that it's been happening like that because of the resurgence, where some of these big theaters are accepting. They're not accepting it runs, but hey, at least they're accepting it for weekend runs. You know what I'm saying? So for sure, because I don't remember that when I first started out. I don't remember seeing a lot of these indie horror films in like major theaters. For sure we
Right.
get now. So I've had the pleasure of seeing three of my films in mainstream theaters. And let me tell you something. I'm not saying, when I'm saying mainstream, I'm not taking away from independent theaters at all. I'm just saying it's a shock, a pleasant surprise. You know what I mean? So I don't want anybody
And
to think I'm knocking independent theaters. I'm certainly not. It's because of independent theaters and independent video is why we have sustained all these years. I'm just saying it's a welcome shock that some major chains, or actually they're waking up being like, oh shit, there is a market for this stuff. We will run it for a weekend, you know?
mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And if it wasn't for those independent theaters and all that, we have the Rocky Horror Picture Show.
That's right.
You know,
And
the
Night of the
Rocky
Living Dead.
Horror, yeah, and A Night of the Living Dead. Those like was in independent, film houses, and look,
First.
and there's like a huge first, and there's like this huge cult following, and it still runs
Yep.
today in 2023. And
Yep.
it's because if it wasn't for them to like be the ones, the forefront, the forefathers of it, you wouldn't have like Thrust and like Barn 2 like right
That's
beside a main film. And
exactly.
another one that actually did was it last year of Terrifier. I went to go see
Oh,
Terrifier 2 in the
Terrifier 2.
theater, and
Yes.
I'm
Terrifier 2.
yes,
Yes. Our friend
I went.
competition.
I was just like, are you serious? They're playing Terrifier 2.
Yeah.
So like
That is so dope.
I had a DJ gig that afternoon, and when I was
Uh-huh.
done, I ran my ass and bought a ticket to go see Terrifier
Nice.
2. It was just like, really? Damien Leone is what? I was like, okay, I'm not gonna like miss this chance because it was in selected theaters. That was the thing. It was in selected
Right.
theaters. And
Yeah.
you had to like be on alert to like look for that Joker and like watch it. So I was
I
in luck with that.
yeah, I love the fact our competition in the most affectionate way because Screenbox picked up the Barn 2 and Terrifier 2 streaming on Screenbox. And this summer, one like Terrifier 2 and the Barn 2 were awesome. So I loved it. I loved it. I have so much respect for the Terrifier franchises, and I just loved seeing the Barn 2 at number 3 and Terrifier 2 at number 2 each week on simultaneously, and that's just so dope.
That is like pretty badass right there. So like I'm gonna like dive in because I have not watched Barn and Barn 2, so I'm gonna be watching those later on whenever I'm like not so stupid busy.
Nice.
But I am going to talk about zombie games, and I cannot believe you were in this film with legendary scream queen Linnea Quigley.
Well, that is when I tell you, first of all, that was a dream come true because when I was 12, 13 years old, I
Mm-hmm.
mean, I still love Linnea Quigley, but when I was 12, 13 years old, she was like, that was it. Like, I had her movies. I loved everything she did. And then there was a Fangoria horror convention in
Mm-hmm.
Manhattan.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
all these people there that year, there was Gunnar Hansen, who plays Leatherface from Texas Chainsaw Massacre. There was like somebody from Halloween movies there, but I went for Linnea Quigley. That's who I went there for. And she signed my poster, and I was like, oh my God. And I brought it to school, and all the kids were envious of me, and I had gotten picked on in school, so she kind of helped me get picked on less when I came to school with this poster with this hot chick sign saying "You're hot" in my poster. So
Yay!
um, we had always a huge fan of her all these years, and then we had a mutual fan of ours connect us. So
Mm-hmm.
that's how we got connected. We got connected because there was a dear friend of mine, David Shalingo, David
Mm-hmm.
Zavendra, and the connecting point for Linnea and I. And he was a huge fan of hers. He was a fan of mine, and I seen something about her on his page. I was like, oh, I love her too. And he was like, oh, you guys should connect. So he connected us. And a lot of times the idols, your heroes, you will be severely disappointed. And I can tell you that I was not disappointed to reconnect and to meet Linnea again, because it is because of her. I'm not going to take away from my own hard work and everything, but it is because of her that I have been able to be in well over
Mm-hmm.
half of the films that I'm in through recommendations from her. So to be recommended,
Oh.
yes, to be recommended somebody that you look up to is I can't even begin to tell you how that feels, because I wrote about it when I was 13. I wrote about it I had like a marble diary sort of thing, and
Mm-hmm.
I still have that book, and I showed it to her, and it said, I want to work with Linnea Quigley. I want to do movies with Linnea Quigley. I wrote this when I was 13 years old. So now we have been in 3 movies together, I think it is, and
Oh.
it's just amazing. She's just an art business person. She's pretty much okay. And to this day, like the horror conventions now, she is a legend. But I'm saying like it surprised it would surprise some people because of the fact that I don't want to say the name of the person because I have so much respect for this other person too. I don't know them personally, but I'm saying for their acting and their films. But there
Mm-hmm.
was a person at a convention recently, and they are in major horror films too, just like Linnea, but they are also like a villain in horror movies.
Ooh.
So
Ooh.
anyway, long story short, her line was longer than this person's. So that shows the power of the staying power. You know what I mean? So to this day, she
Yeah.
is so endearing. That's how much like this major horror villain character who deserves a long line. And they did have a long line, but her line was even longer to sign autograph. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? So yes, she directed that movie. It's actually the first movie she's ever directed. and she personally asked me
Mhm.
to be in it, and I said, of course, I'd be friggin'. So, yeah, I flew out to California and filmed it. We actually filmed it during the pandemic.
Yes, that's what I was like when I watched it. I was like, "Oh, okay, this is like a
Yeah, we filmed it during
pandemic like film."
the pandemic. And here's a fun fact. Here's a fun fact. I stood at her house for the filming of it. I didn't get a Airbnb. I stood at her house. I stood
Hell
at her
yeah.
house. Yes, yes. So that was another dream come true with her and her 15 runs like a sanctuary for dogs and
Mhm.
misplaced animals called Moulin Rouge. So here I was with, she had a separate place for the dogs, but of course, you got to feed them. They come running around, and yeah, it was just amazing. I have so much gratitude towards Linnea, for sure, and it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun. There were scenes that were there were supposed to be additional scenes, and I think something happened with the film and all that. So there was supposed to be more. I think they're restoring it and adding those additional scenes. But yeah, that was just amazing. And I initially worked with her on The Barn Part 2, and that's just has a
Mhm.
who's who of horror in The Barn Part 2. I really think you're gonna enjoy both of them, for real. I'm not just saying that because I'm in it. I really think you're
Yeah.
gonna enjoy it because it has Doug Bradley from Hellraiser, Pinhead from Hellraiser in
Oh,
it. It has Ari Lehman, Jason from Friday the 13th in it. It has, of course, Linnea Quigley in it. And
yeah.
for those of you that don't know who Linnea is, but this is horror podcast, everybody knows, but just in case, she starred in Return of the Living Dead. She starred in Night of the Demons. She starred in Creepazoids, Sorority Babes in the Slime Ball Bolorama. She also was in comedy films like Vice Academy. So that, for those of you who may not know who Linnea Quigley is, that's who Linnea Quigley is.
Yes. And
So the
then
Barn
you
2, the
just
Barn 2. Oh, sorry, go ahead. I'm sorry.
oh no, you just like summed her up like all in one like little pretty little bow. You really
Yeah.
did. You
Well, dude,
did.
because you never know. Sometimes people might not know who you know what I'm saying? We
Yeah.
assumption and we hope that we know who these legends are, but so that's why I'm like, you know what? Let's say it in case somebody doesn't know, or in case somebody's new to a new horror fan. Let them know who that person is.
Exactly.
So yeah, but working on
Exactly.
we first worked together on the Barn 2. That was before Zombie Games, and like I said, the Barn 2 had a who's who of these horror legends that I just rattled off, and there's even more. Joe Bob Briggs from The Last Drive-In is in it. Diana Prince from The Last Drive-In. So
Mm.
you can imagine, you can imagine me being on the set, and I had a supporting role in the film. It was my first supporting role, by the way. By the way,
Mm-hmm.
everything else prior, all the other things I did prior, with the exception of one movie called Moth, everything else I had was just a bit part or whatever. So this is my first supporting role, right? And thanks to her also, by the way, because the director was going to give me a bit part, and I would have been certainly happy with that because I was a huge fan of The Bar Part 1. But Linnea spoke with the director, Justin. I got a part. She's like, "What's your part?" And I told her, she's like, "Okay, let me talk to the director. See if I get you something bigger." I'm like, "No, please don't, because I didn't want them thinking that I wasn't. You feel." I didn't want them thinking I was like some brat or some diva. I was perfectly fine with just
Yeah.
having a tiny part. But I guess she believed in me so much, and she's had my reel. She had my actor's reel. So she spoke with the
Mm-hmm.
director. I don't know what she said to the director, Justin Seaman. Big ups to Justin. Love Justin. He contacted me. He said, "Okay, well, I'm gonna not giving you the part. We're gonna give you a supporting role." I said, "Oh." He said, "But I have to write you in the script. The script is done. I write you in." I was like, "Okay." So it was done. The script was done, and then he wrote in that role for me. So
Oh my God.
that was thanks to Linnea. Yeah, because like I said, the bit part was already written in, and I guess could have been played by any actor that could do that. But my actual role, Tony, with the script was done. Tony did not exist, and he wrote that in. So, and being on that set, I gotta tell you, because like I said, I lay low. I do me. I believe in myself, and I'm very proud of what I've done. But I don't have like this ego. You understand what I'm saying? So
Mhm.
I'm there. I'm there to work it as a job, and I'm grateful. And it's living the dream. I'm special than anybody else, and you understand. And how dare I even think that to be around these legends?
Mhm.
But that being said, I was in the why are words escaping me right now? I guess because I'm overexcited. Holding, thank you. I'm in the holding area, right? I'm in the
Mhm.
holding area, and I'm like there chilling. Then I saw the other part holding, and it said main cast holding area. Now I'm in the other section, the holding area with the other actors. And I walk over to where it says main cast holding area because I'm nosy, right?
You were.
And they listed the holding area. They listed the
Mhm.
names. They said that this part here for main cast only, whatever you want to say. And I'm reading it, and it had my name on it. I was like, "Holy shit! I'm in the wrong holding area." Because I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe because I'm looking at these names. You understand? It says main cast holding area this way, and it said Linnea Quigley, Ari Lehman, Doug Bradley, Joe Bob Briggs, Lovari. I was like, "Oh, that's me! Oh shit, I go in there." You know, this is so real. Really, seriously, like that is you would think the biggest memories I have on the set.
Mhm.
That's like my biggest memory is that. I guess just
Mhm.
from seeing that, how surreal that was to see my name on that was interesting, and then obviously the scenes that I did, but for some sticks out more than the scenes that were being filmed. I guess just because I
Mhm.
was like, wow, these are my childhood idols, and now I'm on this piece of paper or whatever saying I'm in the same holding area with them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that was
I
just
tell you
amazing.
this right here. Yeah, I tell you this right here. If I was in your shoes, I'm just like sitting here listening to you and just like just putting myself in your shoes. I'm just like I would just like crap bricks because Doug Bradley and then Joe Bob Briggs. I used to watch Joe Bob Briggs and with Linnea. Um, I've seen her and followed her ever since I watched Night of the Demons, and I was like in junior high. And of course,
Hmm.
the scene in the
I'm
scene
just
like
trying to look
had
pretty for the boys.
oh my god, the scene with the lipstick just had me like on the floor because I had to pause it. And my grandmother was watching it with me, and she's like, "What the hell is that?" She almost cussed, but she was like, basically, "What the hell is that?" We were like, "What the hell is this?" But I love Night of the Demons. I also loved her in Return of the Living Dead, and I actually have a pair of lashes. They're called trash lashes because she played trash. And so when she got up on that tombstone, I was like, "Oh, I'm gonna do that one day. I'm gonna dance like that." But I read like the whole story behind it of like how they had her to do some, shave it and everything. It was just getting very irritated and for like that scene. But she was such a trooper, but she always like just amazed me like of how like she worked. And she looks like a super, super sweetheart. She just looks so like just you could just sit down and just talk to her and
She is.
you can just talk forever. And like she's like, yeah, I know I've been in those movies,
And
but this is what I do and blah 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 blah. It's like I can talk about cooking and stuff like that with
she
her.
talks about her, and let me tell you, you hit that right on the nail, because she won't bring the films up.
Hello? Yeah, you cut off again. Sugar plum, you cut off again.
One moment.
There we
Oh
go.
no. Can you hear me?
There we go. Yeah, I can hear you now.
I am so sorry. I
No,
said
you good. You good. It happens.
I said she is right on the head. She will talk about her animals and that's great, but that's not when she's having a conversation. It's not about, oh, look what I've done. You know what I mean? She's very compassionate towards other people and especially animals. So for sure. And I will say this, there is a big lesson that she did for me, but she didn't know she did it for me. And I had this conversation with her actually when we were on the set of The Barn 2. I said, you taught me how if somebody says something publicly, how to listen, I'm from New York. And it's true. I don't care what nobody says or nothing. New Yorkers, we got attitude. We ready to fight. It don't matter. I don't care what nobody says. And people say, "Oh, I'm from here. I'm from here." Whatever. No, New York. I'm sorry. We're the ones that got the attitude. We ready to throw down more so than any other state. I don't care what nobody else says. Right. So you have to remember, I'm from New York. Right. So like when I first, if somebody would say something to me, I'm like, fuck. You know what I mean? Or whatever. I remember when one of my first things on stage, one time I was performing one time and I did a few of my songs. Then I did a Toni Braxton cover and these people in the front started, boo, you can't sing like her. Fuck you. I was like, shut the fuck up. I said in the mic. So anyway, what she taught me was this without her even telling me, is because I saw it. I saw her do it one day. Kid at that same horror convention, at that Fangoria horror convention, when I was 12, 13 years old, she was doing a Q&A, right? In the hundreds of people there. She was in the microphone doing a Q&A, and she was in the middle of answering a fan's question, and all of a sudden, somebody yelled out loud, "Nice tits!" And guess what she did? Guess what she did? Absolutely nothing.
Nope. Didn't do nothing.
She did absolutely nothing. She paused, regained her composure, and finished answering the question that the other fan was asking her, like as if she completely ignored the person, like they didn't exist. And that was so impressive to me at 13 years old. And I took that with me. So I said, with that one exception where I said to the person, remember that now, when somebody says something like that, nasty to me like that, in publicly, I just think back to her and how she took a pause and completely acted like they didn't exist and kept right on with answering her questions. I was so impressed.
That's a lady right there. That's a lady. That's a classy lady right there. That's a classy lady move right there, because I grew up with, like, women, like that. They're very like old school. And if somebody says something derogatory, being like an idiot or whatever, they just look at them and just keep on going what they doing, because they're not going to pay attention to it. They know it's like a bunch of noise. Now, if they react to it, they know that they got them. But for her to do that, even though the dude's like nice tits and everything else like that, I mean, just shouting, just like an idiot, answering a question of a fan, and that just shows like how much great poise that she has, and
absolutely,
that's amazing. And like because I when I follow her on Instagram, and I just send her, she talks about her dogs and all that, and it's just the way how she poises herself, and I was like, she looks cool to like hang out and talk to. And I know she can drop so many great gems because of a lot of things that she done in her life, and she has like so many accomplishments, but she's also like laid back to where I'm just people. And
yes,
that's
100.
That's what's so great about her.
100. Now I think that's probably why we get along so well. You know what I mean? Aside from her being one of my heroes, I think it's because the layback, attitude and all that. But yeah, so yeah, it's always the dream country work with her. And then Lloyd Kaufman, he's in the Barn too also.
Oh, okay then. All right now.
Toxic Avenger creator. Yeah, Trauma. Yeah, Lloyd Kaufman. So yeah, again, to be with all these people is just wow. And then Ari Lehman, love him so much. He played Jason in Friday the 13th. Most of my scenes are with him. And again, Friday the 13th, of all of Freddy, Jason, Michael Myers, my favorite has always been Jason. always. So like to be doing all my scenes with the OG first Jason is just amazing, just so amazing. I gotta say that's the whole thing. The horror community, and I'm sure you notice as a horror podcaster and as a fan, people, the horror community is really fucking cool people, really supportive of each other, really
Yes,
supportive. It's like a
really,
close
really
knit
supportive.
community. And I have not had any, knock on wood. As a matter of fact, I have a wood table right here. I'm gonna knock on it right now. Hold on. Do you hear? Did you hear that?
Yeah, I
You
heard
heard it?
that. I
Okay,
heard it.
just so you know,
Yes.
knock on wood. I haven't had any negative experiences with anything in the horror community right now. It's just so super close in. I want to say that because the music industry is very motherfucking cutthroat. Okay, I will say that now
Yes.
because this is a horror podcast. We're gonna focus on the horror aspect, but yes, you know I'm a singer too, and you know I have my number one goal. My number one goal in life was to get on the Billboard charts. My number two goal in life was to establish myself in horror films. Okay, so luckily both those dreams have come true. But I will say this: I thought that I finally got on the will never get on the Billboard chart. So that's just amazing in itself. That my number one dream, and it took a long time for it to happen because I was recording demos in 1998. My first single came out in the early 2000s, and my first album came out in 2009, whatever, or 2008. And so, you know, I finally had my first Billboard charting single in the end of 2019, before the end of the decade. But that being said, you'd think that after all that, finally getting a song on the Billboard charts, do you know it's still a struggle to get a show or something after all that, after being on the fucking Billboard charts, after Billboard writing an article about me, it's still a struggle.
Hmm.
So I want to say that because it's important to know that how different it is between the horror filmmaking community and in my experience of being in the music industry. How I've been in the music industry for almost 20 fucking years, and I still have to. It's still like trying to knock down doors. Oh, but I'm on the Billboard charts. But it's still a fucking struggle. Yet the horror film community I've been in for less than 3 years, and I've been able
Hmm.
to continue to establish myself. Like wow, it should be the
Hmm.
opposite. You know what I'm saying? It should be
It
like,
should.
you get what I'm saying, right? Like
Yeah, I
you
get
would
what
think that
you're saying.
you would think I've been in the horror film industry for 20 years with all these amazing opportunities I'm getting. And you would think I'd be in the music industry for 1 year with the struggles, you know. But listen, it is what it is. It is what it is. But I want to say that because I want to let people know, because you know, you might sometimes. I'm not saying that people say negative things, but I do
Hmm.
want to focus on a positive aspect of how, with my experience, how the horror film
Hmm.
community has been to me, which has been a beautiful, accepting thing. And I'm so grateful for that.
This awesome. Now, and I have been welcomed into the horror community myself. And for me, it's just been like really smooth sailing. Yeah, I would say it was like one or two bumps and stuff because I had one or two. Well, I had one guy who was pretty stalkerish, and I was just like, oh my god, what is this? But other than that, a lot of people don't know that, but y'all just found out I had a dude that was a stalker. But other than that, I have like had so many like warm, and fuzzies from the horror community because we know that we're not like a really huge like community because of a lot of people that are just not really into horror, but like for the hardcore horror fans, we know what's up. We have to like build that community between each other and everything because it was the love of horror that brought all of us together, and
Yeah.
I've just been so pleased as punch. And I've been doing this podcast for like 3 years now. November will be 3 years, and
Congratulations.
thank you. And I'm just really just like happy to like just be doing this for 3 years and knowing my stupid ass and everything. I'm like, I ain't doing this shit. I just want to fucking give up. But I just keep on going. And you know, it's been times I'm like, I don't want to fucking I don't want to talk to these motherfuckers. And then I'm like, you know what? Let me go talk to them. And let me go say something. Let me go
Getting out of your
commentate on this film. Let me go do this. Let me go do that. It be like that because it's just something that it just that thing that draws me into just podcasting. It just draws me into like what I love is horror, and so you have to have passion, just like you have passion of what you're doing, and that's what's going to keep you going and keep you thriving.
I agree 100% for sure. Yes, thank you.
Yes,
Yeah.
but I'm gonna ask you a question. So, like, how did you just end up with this one name, Beyonce Lovari, like Liberace name? Like, tell us that story. What's up with that right there, Lovari? Just go
so
ahead, Lovari.
so uh, there here's okay, so unfortunately and I'm by the way, I'm we're trying to get this taken care of, but because of my verification on Instagram and Facebook, the blue check thing, they making me put my full government because that's what's on my ID. Prior to the verification, I just had Lavari for the thing, but now it has Anthony Lavari or Antonio Lavari. But anyway, for Lavari, how did it just be using my last name? Because for some reason, ever since I was in the second grade, people just call me by my last name. There's no rhyme or reason. For some reason, beginning in the second grade, people just started calling me Lavari. And that was it. And it was actually quite shocking because there were recently, I forgot who I was talking to, but recently they said, I went to high school with them, and they said, you know that I didn't know name was Lavari. So yeah, that's where it came from. It came from the second grade. People called me that my first name, and that was filling out forms or whatever. Lavari. That's it. That's where it came from. It didn't come from no, and it does sound good. But it didn't come from that's that's it. That's it.
That's cool though. Like, I had a principal that called me by my last name, Lacey. He couldn't say Keisha. He just said, Lacey, what's going on? I was like, I'm all right, Mr. Moon. I'm all right, you know. But he was the only like teacher, principal that like called me by my last name. But the rest of the time, people just call me Keisha, or they call me Kiki, Mook 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 too. You know, I had like plethora of like nicknames. So like Kiki stuck for the longest. So, you know, when everybody like says like, okay, Kiki, like that, I know they're talking about me. Now if I hear Mook Mook or Mookie, now I know that is like from somebody remembering when I was in junior high. That's what they called me in junior
Wow.
high, was Mookie. Like Mookie or Mookie. So
Uh-huh.
I thought that
Oh,
was
that's
pretty
so cool.
cool.
That's very endearing. Very endearing. Yeah,
So
yeah.
so I'm going to ask you, what is your favorite horror film or film?
You know it's got to be plural.
Okay.
You know it's got to be plural. I can't name one. So what you want me to do? 5, 3? You tell me. You're giving me, you're being gracious to me by saying I don't have to do one. So you want me to do 3 or
I'm gonna
5?
say it
You
like
tell me.
this. I'm gonna say it like this. Give me two of them.
Oh my
I'm the
gosh.
same way. I can't. I mean, like people like, what is your
Wow.
only favorite horror movie? I'm like, bitch, there's a lot of horror
Wow.
movies I like. That's my favorite.
Oh
Yeah, just
my
give me two.
gosh.
Yeah,
Oh my
yeah, just give me two.
gosh.
Just give me
I
two of
tell you
them.
what. I'm only going by the top of my head, and the
All right.
list changes, but these two are always
Mhm.
in my top 5. So I'm gonna say the ones that are these two are always in my top 5, and that
All
is
right.
Return of the Living Dead and Friday the 13th Part 3. That's the one that was originally in 3D and where he actually starts wearing the hockey mask in Part 3. So there's 2, but there's so many more. But
Ain't nothing wrong with that. Ain't nothing wrong with that. That is awesome right there. But yeah, like that's like real cool because like really, I feel like if you have like a favorite horror film or horror films and stuff, I mean, come on now, it's gonna be like maybe like 3 or 4 or 5 of them that's like your favorite.
Yeah, there's 5
And
for me, for sure.
it's like yeah, I like to give people choices.
You know what? I have something fun. I have a fun thing we could do right now if you want.
Sure,
If you want to
I'm
ask
game.
me, if you want to ask me, you and me, our favorite ones in each franchise, we can run that down super fast. Like, what is
Oh
my
my
favorite
God.
Friday the 13th? What is my favorite Halloween? What is my favorite Nightmare on Elm Street? What is my favorite Hellraiser? You want to do that? 30 seconds?
Oh
I could
yeah,
do
let's
it.
do that. I am
Boom.
so
Okay.
game. Oh my God. Fuck
Okay.
yeah, I'm
Do you want me to
down.
start?
Yeah, you can start.
All right, I'll start. Okay. All right. So Friday the 13th, I just said Friday the 13th, Part 3. Second place, Friday the 13th, the original. Third place, Friday Jason Lives. Okay, Halloween. Favorite Halloween is going to be the original. My second favorite is going to be Halloween, The Curse of Michael Myers and the director's cut. And then my third favorite is going to be Season of the Witch, Part 3 with the masks. Okay, Nightmare on Elm Street. Nightmare on Elm Street. My favorite Nightmare on Elm Street is not the original. Street is Nightmare on Elm Street 3, Dream Warriors.
Yes.
Street, followed by the original Elm Street, and then Nightmare. Who did we not cover? It's definitely Hellraiser 1. It's actually in order. Hellraiser 1, those in order. The Chucky movie of those. Chucky and Part 1, but I would say the Bride of Chucky overrides it for that one. Pretty much the basic. Okay. There we go. I got a funny quote about Elm Street 3. I was a stand-in on a film almost 12 years ago, a movie called V.I. and Patricia Arquette was in the movie. I'm in the dressing in makeup room with Patricia Arquette, my stuff on, and I like of all the films he's done, I'm a huge fan. My favorite is Dream Warriors, and that's actually my favorite Elm Street movie. So you never know what the person's gonna say because now she's this big Hollywood star. She won Best Actress recently. You know what I'm saying? She turns around and she goes, I loved it too. She goes, but I have one issue with that. I was like, what? Right? She goes, remember the part where we're all sitting in the chairs? I said, of course, it's my favorite Elm Street movie. She goes, okay, do you remember one person was like a wizard? One person had magical powers. She's like, what did they make me? A fucking gymnast. That was what they fucking give me? A gymnast? Somebody's a wizard. Somebody's got magical powers. They make me a gymnast. She really said this to me. I start cracking up. I said, yeah, but hello, you friggin' killed Freddy in the end. She was like, yeah, that's true. She went, yeah, that's true. I was like, yeah, because of your fucking kick-ass gymnast. Like, yeah, that's true. But she really said that. I swear to you, I'm not making this up.
Oh my gosh, my chest is hurting. Oh my God, I'm dead ass.
She really said this.
Yeah.
She really said that.
Oh my
she
gosh,
really said that.
But that part
I
of her
know.
doing that and everything, that was like so badass.
I know, and that's what I told her.
Was like a wizard and stuff.
Right, and that's what I told her.
Killed.
I said, yeah, but you killed Freddy. And she went, and she literally shook her head. She went, yeah, you're right. I was like, yeah. But the fact that I thought the conversation was going to end with her just saying, thank you. You understand what I'm saying? Or maybe a half-hearted grin. No, she went there. I was like, oh my God. And And then she's like, "Do you remember the part?" I was like, "Do I?" I was like, "Yes, it's my favorite movie, favorite Freddy movie. Of course, I remember."
I am
But
screaming.
that was
I
so
am
cool. That was that was
screaming.
super cool. That was super 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 cool. Yeah, that
That
I got to
is
have that moment
super
with her.
cool right there.
Yeah,
All right,
yeah.
let me go with mine and everything.
Yes.
Nightmare on Elm Street. So I'm gonna say it like this, of course. Number three, Dream Wars is like the top one that I like. Number two, okay, I love number two,
Number
and
two,
the
I call the gay
original.
one.
Oh my god, everybody calls it the gay one, but I'm gonna tell you, but that motherfucking ass, like that first part with that damn bus and all that shit was
No, I'm
falling
saying
over
it's
and everything,
no, it's
bro.
a great no, it's a great movie, but I'm saying it's a gay horror movie because I remember when I was
It is.
but I guess in the 80s it was like taboo to say it, but I remember watching that movie when I was a teenager and I was like, "Wait, I think that dude is gay." And then it turns out in real life he is gay. I don't know if you know that. In
Yes.
real life the lead actor
I knew
was,
that when I watched it.
but
I
then so
watched it
as
when
a
I
kid
was
I'm
little
watching
and
it.
I knew it.
And then the part with the gay bar, and then I'm like, oh my God, I was like, this is a homoerotic movie. He's getting him naked in the
Yes.
shower. I was like, this is a gay movie. And then I was so surprised as a kid because I'm like, how come nobody ever talks about this gay movie? And I'm assuming because in the 80s it was taboo, but that is a gay movie.
Yeah,
That's a gay horror movie. And it's a
yeah,
great
it
movie.
was.
But I'm saying, yeah, but
It
it was
is.
so, yeah, and it was so taboo for its time. And I was just like, wow. Now I think they talk about it, but I was like, wow, I can't believe nobody picked up on it in the 80s or didn't. Like, I went back and Googled and read reviews, and nothing in the reviews when it came out even alluded to the fact about that. So yeah, but I'm sorry, I interrupted you. Go ahead.
Oh no, dude! Like for real, like I knew the guy was gay. Even the actor who played Jesse.
Just
I mean, I cause like when I watched it and I was like, yo, this dude is gay. And yes, it was very taboo back then, to have movies like that. But I like how they slid that in there because it was people that noticed it, but we just haven't like just came out and just say, hey, yo, like that dude was gay, man. Like there was like a whole thing about that
and the
film
coach.
that I read. Yeah, and I was the get the yo. I even knew that when I watched it. I was like, yo, that coach like gay. He's gay.
Actually don't let the bar anyway.
Yeah,
He had the
he
dream.
was
He brought
like
it back.
leather
So they
bar.
didn't. All right. So they didn't.
Yeah, they made it to where like about the coach, but they just didn't make it like so dramatic, like as like a leather like gay bar and stuff. But you see like the different elements in it, and you're just like, oh, okay, okay, yeah. But like strangely, when I was like that young, when I watched it, I was like, yo, I was like, gay bar. I was like, what? Because I was just like, dang, this is like crazy. But like when everybody like came out and talked about it, and I was like, I already knew that. And I knew like a lot of people knew that they was just waiting for the right moment to like talk about it. And but I think that was like a very fantastic film. Some people give it shit and everything, but I don't care. It's like, oh, that's like get Freddy Krueger being gay. And I'm like, I don't care, but it's still a good like Nightmare on Elm Street, and it is pretty freaking scary,
I liked
especially the
about it.
swimming pool. The pool
Yeah, but you
party
know what?
scene, bro.
Yeah, but you know what else I really like too is that
Uh huh.
they went there. They went there. This was, you know
Mm-hmm.
what I'm saying? Like they took chances with that. Like what
They
they
really
like
did.
Nightmare on Elm Street blew up, and they could have been like totally commercial for part two. You feel me? And they went there. They just like no, they went left field. They're like let's be art house and let's be taboo. Like they went there.
They did.
If you think
That's
about
the reason
it,
why I like it.
right? Yeah, I agree. I
It
totally
was
agree.
that, and the first one, of course, like Nightmare on Elm Street, the first one. But another one is like kind of like I would say runner up with it is going to be New Nightmare. It's just
Yes, so
something
we have the
I
same thing.
I know I bought New Nightmare because I love the shit out of New Nightmare. It's just something about New Nightmare. I mean, people are like, oh, that movie right there, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, no, bro. Like, you have like Heather Langenkamp and Robert Englund. They're playing themselves, and of course, Robert Englund was playing Freddy Krueger. And then you got Miko Hughes. He was Gage in Pet Cemetery and Kindergarten Card. Boys have penises, girls have vaginas. But he was like being terrorized by like real ass Freddy Krueger, yo. I was like, oh shit. I was like,
I
oh
can't
damn,
believe we have two of our three are the same. We both have Dream Warriors and New Nightmare in our top three. How about that?
I know. This is what's gonna mess you up right here. Like when you said would you say Hellraiser 1, 2, and 3?
Yes, and in order. Yeah, basically, yeah.
Okay, that's actually like my same order right there too. That's real.
Wow.
Oh Lord have mercy. But 3, I actually seen it in the theater.
Oh,
Like that
wow.
was like a real cool life experience of seeing Hellraiser 3 in the theater. And I was just like, oh, sweet. It wasn't like the first two, but I still appreciated it because it had Terry O'Farrell. I believe, yeah, she played on Star Trek DS9, was Deep Space Nine.
Hmm.
I'm sorry, y'all. I'm sorry, my Trekkies. I'm a Trekkie till I die. Sorry, Trekkies. But she was Jazia Dax, and she also married Leonard Nimoy's son. I was like, whoa, that is
Oh,
like so
wow.
awesome right there. That's pretty cool. But I liked her in Hellraiser 3. I felt that she brought like a lot to it
Hmm.
within that franchise, and that like I know what I did like Rawhead Rex because of what was going on with the director. The director didn't like, Clive Barker's because Clive Barker, created it.
Hmm.
And Rawhead Rex was really supposed to be this really nasty looking, pulsating, like just giant, like meaty penis, just like raw meat. But if and he was like so pissed because the way how they just really just like jacked him up like with Rawhead Rex. That's when he went to like produce Hellraiser. And if it wasn't for that director doing his like just really just cutting his shit up like that, we wouldn't have Hellraiser. And I was like, damn, that's like pretty cool. And I feel that like whenever you have the original person that created it and this is their vision, but you felt like, oh no, I don't want it like that, and you just really like messed up a really good relationship with the creator like Clive Barker, because Clive Barker is really great and I love Clive Barker stuff. But I felt like if he didn't do that, we wouldn't have Hellraiser. But since like thank you to the fucked up ass director who did that, we have Hellraiser. So we have like Doug Brady who like plays Pinhead, and him and Clive like have been like thick as thieves because they did theater back in the 70s. And I thought that was like really cool as shit. But
Yeah,
yeah,
I didn't know
I
that
love
part.
me some. Yeah, I love me some Hellraiser. You should have been talking to Doug Bradley when you was on Barn too.
You're gonna have
But
to get him
like,
on your show.
you know what? I'm actually eyeballing like Chris Sarandon, who plays Jerry Dandridge from Fright Night. So I'm eyeballing him and Doug. And there's a couple people too that I haven't eyeballed, but I'm trying to build up that courage to like ask them. I mean, if I get a no, if I get a no, if I get a yes, that's awesome. But I got faith. I got faith in myself. I got faith. So, and there's like another franchise. Okay, what's another one? I'm trying to think. Leprechaun. Okay,
I
Leprechaun.
didn't see all of them. I
All
didn't see
right.
all of them. But I'll tell you this, I have a thing with threes because
Uh-huh.
My favorite Jaws movie is
Oh,
not.
oh my
Yes, it
God. No,
is.
you did not. No,
Yes, it
you did
is.
not. No,
Jaws
you didn't.
3. I sure did.
No,
And let me tell you something.
no.
I don't care who wants to hate on that movie, but so many other movies. 3. Deep Blue Sea copied it when the shark crashed through the glass. That is a direct ripoff
Yeah.
of the Jaws 3 scene where the shark crashed glass.
You're right about that. You are. You're
There
dead
was
right.
another movie. There was another movie where a shark was in the aquarium. They ripped that off of Jaws 3 also. So say what people want to say about Jaws 3, but it got copied more so than Jaws 1. Just saying.
Hey, you know what? And you are right because that whole, when I watched Deep Blue Sea and when the shark like busted in, glass shattering everywhere, I was like, Jaws 3, even though it had like Dennis Quaid and it looked really funny because
Exactly.
it was just like, I'm like, oh my God, this is so silly. But yeah, that was the part about Jaws 3. That's the one I remember. That scene is when the shark like busts through the aquarium and all
Exactly.
comes to chaos. That was the
Copied.
best part about it. It was the
Copied.
best part.
Yep. So everything
So
about
yeah, and
threes, it's
it was
weird.
copied.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
you're right. Cause
ironically, yeah, yeah. No, I'm saying ironically, it's weird. I have a thing with threes, like Friday the 13th Part 3 is my favorite of that. Jaws 3 is my favorite of that. Night, my favorite. In Part 3 of a movie yet. I was in the bar Part 2, Toons Part 4, but nothing Part 3 yet.
oh my gosh, that's so hilarious. But you know what? Another one that you mentioned that is a three is one that people in the horror community, it's like a divide, was
I know what you're
Halloween
gonna say.
3, Season of the
Halloween 3
Witch.
Season of the Witch.
Like,
Yeah.
yeah, Halloween Season of the Witch. And the scariest thing is about those fucking masks. So everybody was looking for Michael Myers. And they're like, where's Michael Myers? So you have like old home dude. I forgot his name. I've actually seen him at a con. God, I forgot his name, but I've seen him and I was like, oh my God, it's the dude from Night of the Creeps, and he's been in so many movies. But he was in it. And those masks, when you put those masks on, and oh my gosh, that nasty slime, gross bugs, yeah, all my and that
It's
stupid
horrible
ass
because
car, that stupid commercial.
London
Yes, that
Bridge.
commercial,
London
the
Bridge is
commercial. Oh
falling
my
down.
god.
3 more days till Halloween. Yeah. Well, I think that's scary because yeah, but I think it's super scary because the ending is horrible too. The ending is horrible. The kids get killed in the end. Remember, it was the end of the
Yep.
movie. It's a whole movie about wanting to eliminate the population by killing children by having them wear masks, and then at the end, the kids basically do get killed. So like that's horrible and scary. So yeah,
It is.
that's definitely a fucked up horror movie, and that's why it's in my top 3 of their things.
But and you know what? And it just before that, just being so fucked up, I never wore a mask because of Halloween 3. I refused to wear a Halloween mask. My
Do
brother
you
had a
know?
Yoda mask and he wore it. I was like, he's gonna die.
And now they have though. Do you know they have the silver shamrock masks now?
Oh
They
Jesus
have
Christ.
them.
No.
They have them. Yeah, they have them at like whatever at the Halloween stores now. They do. The skeleton, the pumpkin, and the witch. They have them now. They really do.
Mm,
I'm too scared to get one though, like you.
mm-mm, mm-mm. It's because of that movie. I refuse to like wear a mask. It's because
Yeah,
of
that.
that.
You know what though? I noticed. I'm sure you noticed this too. In the past few years, that it's gotten a lot of newfound respect. Season of the Witch, like it's
I'm
been
glad it
reappraised.
does.
Yeah, 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 for sure. But
I'm glad.
that's the
I'm
whole
glad.
thing. That's the whole thing they were gonna do. And then I guess the movie didn't sit well with audiences, but that was the plan, to make the following Halloween sequels all stories and not include Michael
Hmm.
Myers. That was why they did
Right.
it. That was what was going to be branched out. It was going to be that Halloween 1 and 2 was going to be that story, the Michael Myers and the sister. And then the next ones were all supposed to be different stories based on Halloween. But then, like you said, people are like, where the fuck is Michael Myers? Then they ditched that idea after the one, after
I,
Season of the Witch, and then went back to Michael Myers. Boom.
boom. All right. You ready for some random horror trivia questions?
I'm ready.
All right. It's just random as shit. You don't win any prizes, but thank you for participating.
Oh,
Here.
mm-mm.
All right. Question. of this right here, and you better know this because if you don't, man, I'm gonna get you.
You're not
Mo-
gonna give me a prize if I don't know it. That's what you're gonna
No.
do. But okay.
I sent a sticker. I sent a sticker, scratch off sticker. It smell like
All
pizza and
right.
popcorn.
Okay,
Name
cool.
name the first movie that Miss Quigley have starred, and this is actually a two-part, and the movie that she had her breakout role in. Name the first movie Miss Quigley was in, speaking parts and all, and this other movie that was her breakout role.
Okay, Silent Night, Deadly Night, and then Return of the Living Dead.
You got one of them right. Return of the Living Dead was her breakout role. Fairy Tales was her first movie.
Got you. Okay.
In
She's gonna kill
78.
me.
Oh, no, she's not. All right. All right. Second one. Who is your favorite housewife of New Jersey?
Well, three of them were in my music video. That's not fair. I can't say one. Three of
Okay,
them were
which
in my
one?
music video.
Okay, which
I
one's your favorite housewife?
I can't. Three of them because three of them were in my music video. I
Name
can't.
three of them. Name them.
Oh, I thought you were telling me to narrow it down to one. So
No.
Margaret. Okay, so Margaret Josephs, Dolores
Yes.
Catania, and Marge Senior. All three of them were in my music video, No Day Like Today. So I have three favorite housewives, New Jersey housewives.
Okay, now, okay,
Did you
now,
know that?
nice.
Did you know they were in my video, or were you just saying that because I'm in Jersey?
I'm just saying that because you in Jersey.
Well, how about that? Three of the Real Housewives of New Jersey are in my music video, No Day Like Today. So that's cool that you asked me that.
That's awesome. I actually I like Dolores.
Okay. Well, I'll
Um,
tell you this. One of Dolores's dreams was to be in a music video. So she told me, thank you for making one of her dreams come true.
nice. I also like it. I also like Margaret. I like her. I've always liked the Housewives of New Jersey. Oh, I was there from the beginning. Lord have mercy. But it's like everybody did not like Danielle. I liked it Danielle because she just did not give a fuck.
Well, those are my three favorites because they were so gracious enough to appear in me and Adam Barta's music video No Day Like Today. So my three favorites are Dolores Catania, Margaret Josephs, and Marge Sr. And they are amazing, kind, wonderful ladies.
That is awesome. They seem to be like really, really sweet and kind
Hmm.
ladies. They really do.
Hmm.
Especially Dolores. I don't know. It's just something about Dolores. She's just very beautiful.
Hmm.
She
For
really
sure.
is. She is. And she just seems like just very down to earth also. All
Absolutely.
right. All right. I'm gonna hit you with this one and everything. Are you ready for this one?
Yes.
All right. Which is better? Astroglide or ID Lube?
I haven't used any of them. So I don't know. I can say that all of those things are painful. But I'm gonna say because I haven't used any of those, but I'm gonna say that I heard more people use Astroglide.
Okay. All right. I mean, I'm more of like an ID wet glue girl myself and everything. Silicone versus like, water based and everything. I'm more of a water based girl. So yeah, it doesn't really matter, but shoot, you might have to give me like your deets and stuff what you use. But anyways,
I am a
I told you.
virgin. I am a virgin.
Shit. I told you it's gonna be like random as shit because I will throw something in here. It's crazy. So last question and everything, trivia question. Who is actually your favorite artist? Now you have to do one. This
Okay.
is that I'm gonna make you do one. Who's
Okay.
your favorite artist?
When you say artist, what are you talking about? Are you talking about painting artist, music artist, film artist?
Music
What?
artist.
Oh, my
Music
favorite
artist.
music artist? Oh, Annie
Hmm.
Lennox. Annie Lennox.
Why?
There you go. Perfect. And
Tell me why. Okay.
walking on broken glass.
Walking on broken glass. Now I love
Yes.
the Eurythmics when I was a little
Yeah,
girl, so I know you.
Eurythmics, and Annie Lennox. Those are my. So I say Annie Lennox because she was both as Eurythmics and as a solo artist. So that's my overall
Mhm.
those that's my favorite artist, Annie Lennox. There you go.
Yes, cause honey, like my mom loves like the remake, and we love like Annie Lennox. She has like such a beautiful voice. Oh, she like. I mean, have you listened to the Lord of the Rings soundtrack? I bought the Lord of the Rings soundtrack when
Well,
it was very popular,
well,
and
she's my
she
favorite.
was like on. Yeah, she was on there.
Yeah, Into the West. She won for that song for at the Grammys or the Oscars for that song. Yes. Yeah, but it's not my favorite.
It's my favorite because it's just pretty.
It's
It's
my
one of my
favorite.
favorites because it's pretty. It's pretty.
My favorite of hers. Well, I remade one of her songs, so called "Wonderful" from her Bear album. So I
Mhm.
interviewed her daughter actually. I interviewed her daughter for a magazine actually, Lola
Ooh.
Lennox. But yes, so I love Annie. That's my favorite artist. Yes, musical artist is Annie Lennox, hands down. Ask me more. Those were easy. You made me do things that I said. I had housewives. I really had housewives in my music video. That was easy to answer. I know Linnea Quigley, even though I got one wrong. And I covered an Annie Lennox song. That was
But
easy. I want more.
okay, well, like, all right then. Well, let's go do this one right here. Finish these lyrics.
Okay.
Help me.
Now, is this a real song or you just want me
Yeah,
to
this is a real song. This is a real song. Help me. You want me to give you some clues? Give you a little bit. Help me. I got no soul to sell. Did you get it?
I have no idea.
Okay. I'm gonna finish the next one. Help me. The only thing that works for me.
I have no clue.
Okay, then I'm gonna just bust it out for you, Tatiana. I'm gonna bust it out. Help me. I got no soul to sell. Help me. The only thing that works for me. Help me get away from myself. I wanna fuck you like an animal. 9 Inch Nails.
Nine Inch Nails.
Closer. Yep.
Closer. 9 Inch Nails. That the only part I knew was the "fuck you like an animal" part. That's the only part I knew. If you would have said that first, I would have gotten it. But
Yeah,
no.
that's the reason why you have to guess it. You have to
I
guess it. You have to
know.
like
I
see,
know.
you talk about
Well, no, you
bring it on, and then you like, oh,
no, but you could have
uh,
because the song is called "Closer." Ah, see,
yes, yes, it's called Closer and stuff. But I always throw something like that,
that's
for
true.
y'all to like, yeah, think on your toes and stuff, and
I
stuff.
gotta
But
think
yeah,
about so. That's right. I gotta think about so. All right. So you know what? 4 to 4 for the 4 random questions. Then I will do a 4 synopsis of the 4 films that I'm currently in. How's that? Let's
that'd
bend the
be
rules a little
awesome.
bit. We bend in the
Yes,
rules
let's
a
do
little
that.
bit. All right. So
Alrighty then.
the Barn Part 2 is basically takes place in the early 90s, and these college kids put on a haunted house themed fundraiser because the town bans Halloween because a few years before that kids went missing. And it has a who's who of horror in it: Linnea Quigley, Return of the Living Dead, Night of the Demons; Doug Bradley, Hellraiser; Ari Lehman, Friday the 13th; Joe Bob Briggs, The Last Drive-In; Lloyd Kaufman, Toxic Avenger; and Little Omi Lovari. That's the Barn Part 2. Terror Toons 4, cult favorite. This one is an anthology. It has 4 stories in one. I can't even begin to describe it. It is crazy, wacky, but it all revolves around the character Dr. Carnage and Max Assassin. Terror Toons 4, that's out now. Thrust. Thrust is friggin'
Ugh.
crazy. Thrust ain't even a horror movie. Thrust is everything. Thrust is insane. Thrust is like Mad Max meets John Waters meets exploitation. It's freaking crazy and physically the hardest movie I've ever
Ooh,
had to do, and
okay.
it's disgusting too, and it's just insane. And it also stars Linnea Quigley, directed by Victor Bonacore. Thrust, and I'm in that too. Actually, I play in that movie. I
Uh-huh.
all my lines are barked. I'm the leader of Linnea Quigley's gang, Mother Nature, and I don't know how to talk, so I bark at everything. So I bark and all this stuff, and my killing in it is one of the most violent killings. So yeah, Thrust, that's out now.
Ooh,
And
okay.
then the
Ooh.
fourth is on Tubi, Zombie Games, directed by Linnea Quigley, and it's basically a takeoff of the Hunger Games, except for zombies. And
Mhm.
it is what it is. What it is. It's fun and trashy. So those are the four out now, and then in progress, I just shot Amityville Apocalypse as part of the Amityville Aliens horror anthology. So that'll be coming soon. And that's also directed by Victor Bonacore, who directed Thrust. So that's coming out soon. And then what else did I do recently? Oh, Appetite for Sin. It's a female vampire movie. That's coming out soon. And then there was non-horror movies that I just finished. There's one called Hey God, Did You Get My Message? That's kind of like a
Mhm.
drama action movie. I don't know when that's coming out, hopefully soon. And then on the music
Mhm.
spectrum, I have a new single out called Moment of Love. And it's a remake of a LaBouche song called Moment of Love. And it
Mhm.
is, ironically, LaBouche is a dance group, but I remade
Be my
their
lover, wanna
ballad.
be
That's
my
right.
yeah.
Exactly.
Mhm.
And I remade one of their ballads into a dance song, even though they're a dance group. So, Moment of Love, and it's one of my favorite songs I've ever recorded. And also because Lane McRae from LaBouche approved the song, and on my latest Instagram story, he's singing the song with me. So that is super awesome. So
Oh my gosh.
yes, so
Damn, that is like so badass. Look at you. You're like busy. You all over the place. You have LaBouche and everything. Like, I mean, when you said
well, they're
LaBouche, I was
not in
like,
the song.
be
He's
my
saying
love. Yeah, he's singing
yes.
it with me, but I was just like, when you said LaBouche, I was like, oh yeah, I remember them and stuff.
Yeah, and it's
Okay,
very special to me because when
cool.
I first moved out and I was struggling and I moved out on my
Mhm.
own into Manhattan, I always said I wanted to remake that song because I was working at a record store at the time when
Yeah.
that particular song came out, and I said, "Oh, I want to remake this one day." So that's why it's so special to me. Yeah.
Oh man, that's wow. You just like blowing me away of like
Oh,
everything
thank
that you
you.
like accomplish and things that you are currently doing. And just despite like a lot of like odds and things like that, you still thriving and you just don't give up. And
Thank you
I
so
like
much.
I fucking salute you like with
Thank
that.
you.
Because a lot of people they like give up and you just never did, and you still just kept on you just kept it pushing, you kept it moving. I love that, I really
Like,
do, I love that.
keep it moving now, can't you see? Yes. No,
Bust
thank
it
you
out
so much.
again.
I really, really
Yeah,
appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you so
you're
much for having.
welcome.
And see, look, and I didn't give up coming on your show.
You sure did not. You
I w-
didn't. And
that's right.
he was
You
so
see?
persistent, y'all. He's persistent, y'all, for real. I didn't forget him and nothing like that. I just busy with some shit. But I'm just saying, he's here. And I
See, I
love
didn't
that.
give
And you
up.
never
I
did give
didn't
up.
give
No,
up. And I'm
no,
here
you
on the show.
didn't.
See? I'm so grateful for you having me. Thank you so, so very much. I really, really
And
appreciate it. It's an honor. Thank you.
you're welcome. And it's a pleasure of having you, Billboard, recording artist, actor. You just like blowing it up in horror. And of course, like your other movies, your other projects that you're doing. I mean, gee whiz, bro. You just oh my gosh, you just like a little ball of sunshine.
Oh, thank
You
you.
you are a ball of sunshine. But
I,
Lavari, everybody, Lavari. I don't have no
aw,
clap machine, but there I go right there. There you go, like Lavari. There you
I hear it.
go.
Thank you.
So,
Thank
Lavari,
you.
tell everybody where they can find you, your socials, and everything else, because I want all my people to know who you are and everything. Take it.
My Instagram is Lovari Official. That's LOVARIOFFICIAL. Lovari Official. My Facebook is Lovari Official or Lovari. And my Twitter is Lovari. Lovari. And Spotify, iTunes, all that good stuff is Lovari. Yeah. Don't ask me why I did that. I think it's because I'm hungry. I didn't eat yet. I'm about to go eat. That's probably why I'm like.
Hey, my stomach cussing me out. It's like "Rawr, rawr, rawr, rawr."
Right,
Mine is
we're about to
too.
go eat after this. We're about to hit up with it wherever you're going, wherever I'm going. Yes.
All right, we about to hit up some food and stuff. But thank you so much, Lavari, for being here as
I'm
a
grateful to
wonderful guest
you.
here. No problem. At the Random Horror Show, you are welcome to come back and everything. And ladies and gentlemen, no further ado, as we close out the show, I'm Keisha Lacey, and this is the Random Horror Show.